Hey there. I saw the Rambert, the Spiro guide made by Agent Rambert. I am not saying everything is wrong in it. Like, completely not. But there is some stuff I think is wrong. I'm gonna correct it right there. Free to you to prefer one perspective or another. I'm also gonna give some new perspectives because he seemed pretty closed on what equipment to use.
Hey guys, so apparently my Spiro guide needs a few more explanations since Papa Koala thought it to be insufficient. Also, side note, this YouTuber, Linguistum, who we both collaborated with, asked me to make a Spiro guide since I am top 1 ranked in mastery, whereas Papa Koala asked to post his guide after watching mine. Basically, his video is him criticizing my guide, as if he was the one who knows everything about SA.
You can see I only have recharge bar, but like, he immediately, like...
Daddy, chill.
In the previous guide, Rambert immediately talked about turnover and said maybe heal. So, okay, turnover is not a bad option. Not at all. It's also, I think... okay, so there's no data yet. But I think it's the most used spell on Spiro.
So, first things first, in my video, I clearly showcased 2 builds, which were not just a generic build like Papa Koala's. I emphasized that these builds were for a certain playstyle, which seemed to have slipped his mind, or more likely he didn't watch my whole video. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made a video bitching about mine. Secondly, the reason I don't use recharge is because Spiro's ultimate recharge is pretty fast on its own, like Parfait and Ducky. But the difference is with Spiro it doesn't fully recharge his ultimate and only does half, unlike Parfait and Ducky, where it gives it immediately. And there are 2 ways where you can recharge your ultimate, by attacking or by receiving damage. And when you're playing Spiro, you will notice that you have your ultimate quite often. And so, in my mind, which I explained in my video turnover, gives you an insane combo if you get caught in another Legend's ultimate. But it's not just for you that it helps. Imagine one of your teammates also caught in the ultimate of Ravi, for example. Wouldn't it be more useful to have turnover, so you could not only help yourself, but also your teammates from losing HP? And this is a support method, and I'm not even trying to make a support build right now. I'm trying to make an aggressive one. So why would I need to waste 1 slot for a spell, when I can get my ultimate pretty easily on my own? Also, the little energy boxes you get during matches do the exact same help, then recharge. So if you like collecting energy boxes during the match, you don't need to waste this slot when you could use a more useful spell.
Starting abilities though, so I think Rambert uses this one.
Good job.
But anyways, these 2. Like,
Serious?
there's no abilities that are better than these 2.
I beg to differ.
This one can be good, but honestly, the value you get for this one, with this one you can just face tank as a Peta Punch.
Now, I don't know if he knows what the definition of countering is, but regardless of the ability that you use, you can even have no ability on. You will still be able to counter the Zepeta Punch. Also, yes, I do use Strengthen, but as said in my previous video, in my second build I used Stiffening as well. But as you can see, there was no mention of that in his video. Also, for an aggressive play style, Strengthen helps deal the extra damage to kill your opponent with your ultimate, so you can get more kills in Trophy Collector.
As enchantments, he said Lightning is a must.
Lightning is obviously the best choice for our aggressive play style.
Beam is worth more right now in the current meta.
I beg to differ.
It deals almost the same amount of damage for smaller requirements.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Firstly, I did not only suggest Lightning in my previous video, I also suggested Prudent Beam in the passive build for the passive play style. Secondly, Lightning can deal a total of 800 damage, whereas Prudent Beam can deal maximum of 460 damage. And for the requirements, You would need to stop hitting an opponent for to recharge Prudent Beam, whereas Lightning, you don't need to do anything. In one simple successful skill, it activates it because he does a barrage of punches which is more than 4 or 5 hits, and for an aggressive play style. You don't want to be thinking about not hitting your opponent for your enchantment to recharge. You want to be actively chasing your opponent until they're dead. That said, Prudent Beam is useful when being passive in a passive play style, because you're not looking to be aggressive, you're looking to stay alive, and only hitting an opponent when they're close enough to you, which is what I mentioned in my previous video.
Rambert said Trophy Collector. Trophy Collector is a bad idea on Spearow.
I beg to differ.
Spearow is not a killer.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
He is a warrior. Like he said in the Smash Tune, this scene is...
So, this is the part that required a little more research as to who is Spearow and where he comes from. I personally did read all the 222 chapters. I don't know if Papa Koala read any chapters, but it clearly says in the webtoon that the main character, which is the guy on the screen right now with the headphones, plays Spearow in an aggressive play style. For those of you who read the webtoons, you might be thinking, oh, that's because he is a super genius gamer. Fair point, he is. But he's not the only one who uses Spearow in the webtoon. There are 2 other characters in the story who use him, and they also use him in an aggressive play style. The reason that Trophy Collector is the one I use for an aggressive play style is because you can easily rack up kills, either by yourself or from your teammates, dealing a bunch of the damage first and you doing the final hits. But I didn't know if it would work in the beginning, so I tried it out, and it seemed to be very efficient and helps him become more of a threat and less of just a supporting legend. So, as to explain why I don't use tactical superiority, let me give you a scenario. So let's say you have a tactical superiority equipped. You waited 5 seconds for it to activate. You go and attack an opponent in a team game. You're doing some decent damage, thanks to the 20% increase. And then as you were about to deal the final couple of blows, your opponent's teammate hit you with maybe a strong hit, maybe a weak hit, but you got a hit, and now you lost your 20% increase in damage. Now it's 20% decreased damage received, and you have to wait another 5 seconds to get it back to damage increase. As he said, you're not gonna get 6 kills every match, but 3 or 4 kills is already pretty decent damage increase, and get you the same amount as tactical superiority, without the drawback of it cancelling as soon as you get hit. I'm not saying the tactical superiority is a bad ruin, but it's not for your typical player. You always have to be watching to see that it's on the one that you want, either damage or defense, and you have to make sure you can get out of harm's way for it to change to the one that you want, if you didn't have the one you want. This is a ruin that says better used for advanced players or pro players, but not for your typical players who just want to play the game and focus on the opponent, and not to see if their ruin is activated the way they wanted it to be. I hope this video was able to help clarify a few things. I seem to be unable to escape my Reddit haters.